It usually takes 3 shows to really see that return on an investment more than ever. And just know that it'll be worth it. You just have to be consistent, ask the right questions, and do your homework.
Hi, I'm Veronique Monroe, your Glow Up boss, and I am so incredibly excited for our guest today. When I found out this woman was going to be joining me on Glow Up Boss, I was just beyond excited. I have so many questions for her from a B2B, a D2C perspective, a woman in business, a woman who's been a trendsetter and who's been a mover and shaker in the fashion industry. I'm so excited to present to you Kelly Helfman. Kelly, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
That was so nice. Thank you. Well, I am the president of Magnet Group. So we are the company who oversees really the largest fashion trade shows in the US, including Magic, Coterie Project, Sourcing at Magic. So my group, we run about 14 events a year, B2B trade shows for the fashion industry. So like in a nutshell, all of the booths, those are designers, brands that you know and love, and the buyers are the ones from department stores, small boutiques, online stores that come and shop for their store. So I've actually been at the company for, geez, almost 19 years. And I love it. I consider myself not only a fashion executive, but a trade show executive. And so I've kind of really played all the parts over the past 19 years. I worked my way up to become the president of the group, and I started off in 2006 as a customer service rep. Pretty wild.
That's amazing. What an
Thank you.
exciting story. Well, I'll tell you why I'm really excited. So, as you know, I'm a manufacturer. So, I manufacture sunless tanning and skincare products. And I have my own brand. And I've been doing trade shows since 2005. And I'll tell you something really funny. When I first started my company, before I had any employees, I literally used to do the trade show by myself. I rented a 10 by 10 booth. I'm not kidding you. I rented a 10 by 10 booth, had like your basic table, basic chairs, and I set up the backdrop to collect the overspray of the spray tanning system. I had my spray tanning system and literally had a sign up that says free spray tans. And I would stand in front of my booth and invite people over to come and experience the spray tan. I literally had like a crowd of people around my booth, and there was just me. We've come a really long way since those days, and trade shows have changed so much since those days. So, what I'm really excited to talk to you about today is from a brand perspective, any insight that you can give me, because I still continue to do trade shows with my brand Infinity Sun, but also I'm a contract manufacturer. So I work with a lot of women and help them start and launch their own brands who I know are excited about as a startup starting to do these trade shows. So like any insight you can offer for like starting out, getting a booth, the marketing side, the digital things, like anything that you can recommend to get started doing trade shows.
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I'm going to kind of just play it down to make this really simple for new entrepreneurs that are interested in trade shows because it could feel really overwhelming. So, first and foremost, trade shows are a way to get business. We, as a trade show company, bring the buyers to the show. So we invest a ton of marketing dollars. We have a buyer relation team, and their whole job is to get buyers to the show to help support all of the brands that take the booth. So you guys get your ROI out of coming to the show, right? So that's why it's so important to do trade shows to launch and expand your business because, you're getting in front of buyers that you don't necessarily have to find on your own. Where do I start? Going to a trade show puts you there. It's just, how do you attract the buyer into your booth? What makes you stand out? Do you try to preset appointments, etc.? So you take a booth, and it really depends on the trade show. It could cost anywhere from $2,000 for a 10 by 10 all the way to $15,000 for a 10 by 10. I have no idea, right? And sometimes it includes the booth whole setup. So you just come and it's all set up for you. It comes with the table, the chairs, the booth walls, and then you set up your product and you're good to go. Some people do custom booths, but for your first time, I would always do the like basic, smallest 10 by 10, or sometimes they have specific deals for like emerging designers or emerging brands. Always ask, do you have any specials for new emerging companies? And they may have a different package that they offer to you to get you into the door, right? Because they know it's hard. So you kind of take the most basic package to make this super easy, a turnkey package. And the biggest thing to prepare is you need to ask the salesperson that works for the trade show selling you in. They don't just sell you in and wish you luck. They're a little bit of a consultant for you. So ask, what are the best practices to merchandise my booth? You know, what do you see most for the people that are super successful that attracts people into their booth? How could I pre-market myself? Are there other opportunities that your company offers? Do you give lists of the buyers for me to market to? You know, ask all these questions because they really should handhold you through that first process. And so you want to ask the questions and kind of hold them accountable, because I know we really take them through that whole, how do I set up? You know, can I put catalogs in the press room? Do you have a press list? All those things. But before you even get to the show, I really want to say this. I think you should walk the different shows you're interested in before exhibiting. And as much as I want to sell somebody into a booth space, because that's how we make revenue, I always suggest for you to really be able to prepare properly, come to the show first, walk it. I'll get you a guest badge and you can walk it and kind of see what to expect. That will help prepare you because it's a lot to take in. So you can ask any of these trade show organizers, can I get a guest badge to walk? You know, they'll probably want to walk you through, have a little bit of a sales meeting, and then you can ask all the questions and prepare properly for that first show that you do. So that's kind of trick number one. There's no rush, right? And then once you do it, ask them, how can you prepare? But take that start small and work your way up. It usually takes 1 to 2 shows to really break even and start seeing your investment. You're a new company there. People want to know you're coming back show after show, you're legit, you're following through. So usually it does take a little bit of time to really see that strong profit. You hear all those amazing, you know, stories that people come and they got these huge accounts, but can you fulfill orders? Can you hit their ass as a buyer and so forth? So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. You have to come prepared with line sheets, you know, catalogs, order information, what's your minimum order, all those things. So you really want to do your research. And of course, I'm always happy to help if people have questions. I'll give my information. But those are things that the trade show company could ask you for. And then of course, once you get your booth space, pre-market yourself. I'm going to be at this trade show. Here's my booth number. Reach out to buyers. Social media is incredible. You can reach out to anybody online, all the target buyers. Hey, are you going to be at this trade show? I'm going to have a booth there. I would love to set an appointment. So as many appointments you can set prior to the show is great. Get your return on investment. Then any walk-by traffic is just a plus, right? And what can you do to amplify yourself? But it's such a big part of success. Trade shows, you know, some people, they do other types of marketing, but it really is a way to get new customers, market yourself. Now, some trade shows are order writing, some are just for marketing. So you have to think about your strategy and do your research in your specific industry.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. That's really great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about things like booth positioning, classes, teaching classes, giveaways, any kind of special things to bring traffic to your booth? Glow Up Boss podcast is brought to you today by Infinity Sun. Are you an entrepreneur thinking that you'd like to start a new business that's fun, that doesn't cost a lot of money to start up, that you could do in the evenings and weekends and earn lots and lots of money? Starting a spray tanning business definitely checks off all those boxes. With state-of-the-art plug-and-spray proprietary spray tanning systems that require only one solution, you can literally choose 30 different levels of spray on the spray tanning system itself. Infinity Sun offers sunless tanning solutions that combine high-end skincare together with sunless tanning technology to not only create the most flawless looking tans, but also to improve the condition of the skin. If you want to benefit from Glow Up Boss podcast, you can type in the checkout GUB25 And that gets you 10% off your opening order for an Infinity Sun spray tanning system.
Yeah, and so you can definitely ask the trade show sales rep all those questions about what other opportunities like that. It's different for each show. But at the end of the day, everybody likes something free. So if you promote giveaways, that is incredible. Let me give you, though, some examples of why that might be a no. If you give out a show bag, a bag with your brand logo for people to carry around at the show outside in your booth, that's fine. But you can't necessarily walk around a trade show and give that out because probably somebody has the official sponsorship. So what you give away in your booth is totally fine. But then there's additional sponsorships if you have extra budget to say, can I be the official show bag for this trade show? And my bag with my brand's logo is being given out every info desk. Those are opportunities too. So giveaways are great. Booth position does matter at trade shows. And some people sell you position and charge for that. And some people, it's up to them. But you can always request, you know what, here's the brands I hang with. Here are the brands that are similar to me. I would love to be around brands like this. Or do you have any corner booths available? Do you upcharge for corners? Or I don't want to be near my competitors. I'd rather be in a section here. Definitely it never hurts to ask. Some organizers may be a little bit more, forthcoming with the information around the floor planning and maps. Some may be a little bit more private. That's up to us. You can give us all the different requests, but we don't necessarily guarantee anything. So it really depends on the show, but it never hurt to ask that process, how they floor plan, give requests, what are the opportunities? Can I pay for a corner? Can I not? How much is the upcharge and so forth? And usually on that sales call, they'll walk through everything, but definitely great questions to ask. And then yes, are there any like VIP bag giveaways that I can donate product to the top buyers? Sure. Is there a charge for that? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they just want your product. So all those different things to amplify. And the best thing I say to people is it doesn't always come in at the show. A lot of orders or contacts or people interested come in after the show. So don't get discouraged if it's been 2-3 days and you feel like nothing's really happened. A lot of that people will be looky-loos, walk around, take your information, take note, and then they go back, they take inventory and they decide what they want to order, what they don't, and who they're going to reach back out to. So it's an ongoing process.
Mm-hmm. That's really great advice.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I've noticed through the years doing the shows is how expensive it can be in terms of like shipping. It literally cost me triple to go from outside of the show floor entrance to the booth than it did shipping from my headquarters to the show. So what advice could you give a small brand who's just getting started on how to most efficiently and most cost effectively arrange their booth for these events?
Yeah, so when you talk to that sales rep from the trade show, you ask them, besides this booth cost, what else are my additional costs? And you say, are there costs to ship, accept the shipment at the trade show and have them deliver it to my booth? That's called drayage. Do I have to pay additional for food and beverage? Obviously, there's hotels and travel. So you want to kind of understand there's companies that are contractors that you get a bill at the end. You're like, what's that for? I ordered a light. I didn't know I had to pay for an extra light. So ask them, what are the additional costs besides just what does the booth come with? Because sometimes people compile it all. The booth that you're paying for, let's say $5,000 for a 10 by 10 comes with shipping, comes with your meals for the day, comes with this. What does it not come with? So what should I prepare for before you sign up? Understand what the expenses might be. So then if you're all in costs for the booth, for shipping, for all that, hotel and flight ends up being 15 grand. Is your goal the first show to just break even, hit 10 to 15 grand? And maybe the next time it's, okay, now I'm going to try to make profit and go 50. I'm going to try to hit 25 30 grand. So really understand, set that expectation. If my all-in expenses are 10 grand, is, maybe the goal first off is to just make the 10 grand back. And then your second show coming, you kind of learn a lot and how to better prepare. And then the goal is to make profit, whether that's an extra 20 grand, 10 grand, whatever that might be and so forth. So it gets better. You just got to get in there Ask the questions, what are my costs? Because it is expensive, because we're often working with unions that control the in and out of these huge convention centers. That has nothing to do with the trade show organizer. They're separate. We have to use them. So there are additional costs. There's the booth, what comes with it, and then what doesn't, that will be charged, that you just ask up front. What are those kind of hidden costs that I should rely on?
So the sales rep is really the person to go
Yes.
to say, okay, I'm putting together my trade show budget for the year. This is my very first trade show. What is it to exhibit at your show? What costs can I expect based on these are the things I'm bringing? This is approximately what I think it's going to weigh. What are in your experience, they would be forthcoming with that information?
Yeah, and listen, at the end of the day, they want you to they want to retain your business, and they want
Right.
you to come back show after show. They don't want you to just be a one and done. And so most times they will go through all of this with you. But if they don't, ask the questions, they'll answer them. It's their job. I also suggest reaching out if you know other brands that participate. You could reach out to them and just say, like, ask for that mentorship. As I'm a new brand, I'm looking to come to the show. I see you participate year after year. I would love to pick your brain if you'll give me 15 minutes. Like, I really value you as a business and would love to ask you some questions. And you can get some real information from them.
And now our phone is going to be ringing off the hook because we've been doing these trade shows since 2005.
Right?
There's
Exactly.
been so many changes in the industry. And, I'd love it if you could bring some insight to like anything new. I've noticed a lot of smaller events are starting to happen with brands. What is your take on that? There are thousands of homeless dogs in the pounds and shelters and running all over the streets, and not enough people out there to help them. Sprays for Strays is a fundraising organization that raises money through the sunless tanning and beauty industry to help all the rescues all over the United States of America pull the dogs out of the pounds and shelters, get them vetted, get their vaccinations, get them spayed and neutered, help with any sort of behavioral issues, and help to get them into their forever homes. If you'd like to donate to Sprays for Strays, go to spraysforstrays.com. Or if you'd like to become a member, we offer amazing support at Sprays for Strays to help you grow your business and save the lives of dogs at the same time. Go to spraysforstrays.com and become a member or donate. Every little bit of support helps. Thank you to our sponsor, Sprays for Strays, for helping to save the lives of dogs, one spray tan at a time.
You get what you pay for, right? Some people, it just, how do you want to portray your brand? How many buyers are you looking to meet? Do you have more selective distribution, or do you, want quantity and volume in your orders? So when you go to a large trade show, they usually do merchandise it pretty clear by community and area. So it's not like you get lost in this big sea. It's like, okay, in my show, let's say, the contemporary people and men's know that they shop in Project, and that's a very specific community in Hall, versus if you're looking for sourcing manufacturers to start a brand, you go to a different hall in a different community. So they make it feel like small shows within a big show, and they target those buyers very selectively. Big trade shows will do that, and they often bring a lot of buyers and a lot of opportunity in marketing. When you choose to do a small, intimate show, it's much more niche, it's much more selective. If you want more of a limited distribution, and they'll usually charge accordingly. It might be less expensive, but you're getting, a fifth of the buyers or whatnot, but it's more intimate. Maybe you don't want to see everybody, and that's not your goal, just to have volume of orders. You want to be more selective and be more niche with your strategy. So it really depends on your strategy, and ask those questions of, how do you merchandise the floor? Like, how will people find me at the show? Like, will I be with this community? Like, if you're in sun care, and, am I going to be with the salon products, and who would I be next to? Is that a specific category? How would I tell my buyers where to find me?
Mm-hmm. So the magic show, is that strictly fashion, or is that fashion and beauty as well?
There's a little bit of beauty, because so many fashion stores are becoming lifestyle stores, so they pick up home, beauty, gift as well. So we've actually expanded to home, beauty, and gift quite a bit in all of our shows, because we heard from our buyers that they like to, instead of going additional beauty shows or home and gift shows, they would just like to come to Magic, do their majority of their fashion buying, and pick up a few added gifts to have in the shop. So we do that, and that's the value for beauty brands to come to our show. And, that happens vice versa, right? A lot of like the beauty shows or gift shows will have a little bit of fashion people want to test out, carrying cute socks or carrying handbags in their beauty store, etc. So there's a little bit of crossover that we dip into, definitely. So it's really that strategy of, if you're beauty looking to expand into fashion retail, you'd want to do my show, because specifically at beauty shows, most brands are probably specific beauty buyers for the most part, right?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of like buyers like Nordstrom, for example, say
Yep.
I'm an independent brand and I want to get into stores like Nordstrom, would the Magic Show be a good show to go to meet buyers like that?
Yeah, so I mean, we get all the main department stores, and of course, department stores have a buyer for each department. So there's a kids buyer, and then there's a men's denim buyer, and there's a shoe buyer for kids. So yes, we get some of those buyers. We might not get every department, but we get some. So you can always ask to, can you share with like who is registered? They might not give you the actual name because they don't want these buyers to be solicited. But yes, we have confirmed that the footwear buyer is registered from Nordstrom's and the kids buyer. Now, registered and attending are two very different things. So they're registered, and you hope that everybody attends, right? But for us specifically, department stores come online shop, so a Revolve and Amazon buys at our show, etc. ASOS, and then these mom and pop boutiques that you see in your local areas, or they have chains of 10, 20 stores. So it's a good mix. Over the years with direct to consumer and how fashion's going, we've seen a lot more online stores and smaller boutiques and independent mom and pop shops. And the department stores have dropped a little bit, but they're still really healthy for the ones that are in business. We've seen some consolidation, but we have all of the majors coming to our shows, and it's such important. And then you have the off-price business, the TJ Maxx's of the world, or so that's a huge part too. Of a lot of brands come to get rid of excess inventory to those discount stores as well.
Oh, I never even thought of that.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you think these retailers, especially the online retailers, look for in like independent brands, smaller brands?
Yeah. So what I would say is a point of view, what sets you apart? You have to be able to do that elevator pitch about your brand. They know the brands they know and love, and they're going to see that at the show and they're going to order from, but they come to the show to look for new. And what's going to set them apart from the other competitive store that tries to compete with them in the neighborhood, right? So at the end of the day, how are you selling your brand? What's the story? They want to know that you're going to deliver on time and that you have good quality products. So they're coming to test the quality. Anybody could buy for their store online, but you come to a trade show to touch and feel and test and test the product. And that's what's going to set you apart, because you made the investment to come and test the quality of the product, right? I also say that, less is more. Some people come and they overbrand and they put too much product in their booth, and make sure it's clean, it's approachable. Your salesperson in that booth, whether it's you or somebody you're hiring, means everything. They can't be in their booth looking at their phone. They need to be approachable. Come learn about my brand. Like, you got to sell, because they're walking the aisles and you want to catch their eye. So it's like that great salesperson that's not looking at their phone in the booth, having a clean setup, clean merchandise booth, and then having your story ready and really pitching it. And give them materials to walk away with. Is that scanning a QR code that leads to their line sheet, or is that a takeaway? And that all matters. You have to be prepared for that.
That's wonderful. Well, what I like to do is I like to end every one of our episodes with action items, real
Okay.
actionable, 3 actionable things to do. So, what 3 action items would you suggest that my listeners go and take away and work on right now when they're getting ready to launch their brand at a trade show?
Okay, first and foremost, target what are the right shows for you. So start getting on Google, go to the brands that you would want to hang with at a trade show. What shows are they doing? Do your research. Let's identify the top couple shows that you might be interested in. So if you're fashion, it's probably my shows, Magic Project, Sourcing, or Coterie. If it's beauty, my company also owns beauty events like Premiere, Cosmoprof, etc. And so it doesn't matter what you do. There's gift shows. Google, identify, ask other brands what shows they love and do. So we're going to narrow that down. Then reach out and ask if you can get a badge to walk the show before. So reach out to those people, ask for information. Can I come walk the show? And make those appointments. So then you can do a little bit of homework. So narrow it down to 1 or 2 shows and go walk it and do your homework. And then number 3, once you identify the shows, make a list of all these questions we've mentioned and so many more. So once you pick it, what are all the questions that you're going to ask to prep and prepare? Whether it's marketing, cost, all the best practices. There's so many trade show organizers that say best tips, and just do your homework to make the most out of this. So you can say you did so much, and then just set your goals and expectations. It usually takes 3 shows to really see that return on an investment more than ever. And just know that it'll be worth it. You just have to be consistent, ask the right questions, and do your homework.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you so much for
Oh,
your
of
time.
course.
It's been such an incredible source of information to me and
Always.
my listeners today.
Yeah.
And I've actually been thinking about doing a couple of your shows. So I feel
We'll
inspired.
have to try.
And I will be reaching out. Well, I thank you so much, Kelly, and I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.